Afrika Bambaataa has gone from being a hip-hop legend, pioneer, and founder of the Universal Zulu Nation to a pedo in the eyes of a New York court. Let's get to it. With tracks like Planet Rock and Looking for the Perfect Beat, Bambaataa helped to popularize electro-funk and fuse genres in ways that reverberated across music and culture. The Universal Zulu Nation, founded by Bambaataa, is credited with shaping hip-hop into a cultural movement that emphasized peace, unity, love, and having fun. But allegedly, while Bambaataa was out front banging on those beats, he was behind closed doors banging on something else. The first public accusation against Afrika Bambaataa came in April 2016 by a guy named Ronald Savage. Savage was allegedly a former member of the Zulu Nation, and he came forward and claimed that Bambaataa SA'd him in the early 1980s when he was just 15 years old. Savage described Bambaataa as a powerful figure who groomed him under the guise of mentorship, ultimately exploiting his trust. Savage's story was detailed in his memoir and further amplified through interviews and media appearances. Following Savage's revelation, 3 more men came forward with similar accounts, each alleging abuse by Bambaataa during the time that they were minors. One alleged victim, Hassan Campbell, said he began hanging out at Bambaataa's Bronx apartment during the late 1980s, and that he considered him a father figure at the time. Campbell not only was able to hang out with Bambaataa, but he was also around other celebrities, musicians, and neighborhood heroes. It was the best place to be and the worst place to be, according to Campbell. In a report done by the New York Daily News, it was the worst place to be because Bambaataa sexually abused Campbell numerous times when he was 12 and 13 years old. Campbell told the Daily News, "He is a pervert. He likes little boys." Other claims shared similar disturbing stories. Promises of inclusion in hip-hop's inner circle, invitations to private gatherings, and repeated incidents of sexual abuse. These allegations not only challenged Bambaataa's personal reputation, but they also placed scrutiny on the broader institutional culture of the Universal Zulu Nation. These accusations were initially met with disbelief, some support, and some silence. The claims gained momentum as more survivors came forward and the media began to scrutinize Bambaataa's past. The public reaction was complicated because of the icon's stature within the hip-hop community, the perceived culture of silence surrounding powerful figures, and institutional legacy of the Zulu Nation. Bambaataa denied the allegations in an interview with Fox 5 New York, claiming they were fabricated. In an appearance on the Ed Lover Show, Bambaataa had a statement which said, "I completely deny all type of accusations that are being put against your brother, Afrika Bambaataa. You really need to ask the question, why now? And what is the hidden agenda behind this? Is it because I'm still relevant today, trying to help people across the world?" Unquote. The Universal Zulu Nation initially defended Bambaataa, going as far as implicating a government conspiracy, but later it issued one of the strangest apologies I have ever seen. The apology said, quote, "We extend our deepest and most sincere apologies to the many people who have been hurt by the actions of Afrika Bambaataa and the subsequent poor response of our organization to allegations leveled against him," unquote. So in essence, the Universal Zulu Nation was saying, yeah, Bambaataa did it. Talk about throwing someone under the bus. They threw him under the bus, backed it up to make sure he was under it, and then flattened the tires. But those were just allegations. They were not criminal charges. And sometimes the public will have short memories. So maybe it would finally go away. But eventually, it got real. In 2019, New York passed the New York Child Victim Act. This law extended the statute of limitations for a victim of childhood SA and enabled other victims to come forward. So what do you think happened? That's right. In 2021, a lawsuit was filed alleging that Bambaataa had committed predatory and wrongful acts in grooming, abusing, R-ing, esomizing, and trafficking a 12-year-old boy at the Zulu Nation office and other locations, according to the suit. The events took place between 1991 and 1995. The plaintiff was listed as John Doe. So while Doe was 12 years old, Bambaataa would have been 33 or 34 years old. According to the lawsuit, Bambaataa eventually encouraged Doe to watch adult inappropriate videos while in Bambaataa's apartment, which progressed to mutual self-satisfaction and SA. Bambaataa would then traffic Doe to other men and watch as Doe was SA'd by other adult men. This is according to the filing. And here comes the first problem that Bambaataa had. He did not respond. Not only did he not respond, he took a long time to not respond. Now let me tell you what I mean by that. John Doe filed the lawsuit on August 9, 2021, according to metropolisnewspaper.com. Bambaataa had until October 24, 2021 to respond to the initial summons and complaint. He did not respond. Doe's attorney, though, did not go for the default right away. He waited until April 11, 2022 to motion for the default judgment. And because of a legal technicality, the motion for default judgment was denied. This bought Bambaataa more time. And the legal gods kept giving Bambaataa chance after chance after chance, and he still did not file a response or have an appearance on file. So after more than 3.5 years, and Bambaataa not appearing in court, a New York court issued a default judgment against him. While this was not a criminal conviction, the judgment marks a significant legal acknowledgement of the allegations and opens the door for financial restitution. Now here is Bambaataa's second problem, besides the financial damages. In a case called Woodson v. Minden Leasing Corp., the New York court held that defendants who fail to appear in the matter are deemed to have admitted all factual allegations contained in the complaint and all reasonable inferences that flow from them. So unless something unique happens in this case, and it could, then Bambaataa did all those things that Doe said Bambaataa did. Some legal analysts noted that Bambaataa's failure to appear may reflect either an inability to mount a legal defense or a strategic decision to avoid further public scrutiny. Regardless of the rationale, the judgment marked a watershed moment for survivors of abuse within the music industry. It was the first legal ruling to formally acknowledge Bambaataa's alleged misconduct in a courtroom setting. The ruling is also reopening debates around institutional accountability, especially as it pertained to the Universal Zulu Nation. The organization now faces the possibility of financial liability and reputational damage that may take years to repair. For many in the hip-hop community and beyond, the judgment signifies a long overdue reckoning with abuse and power in artistic spaces. So now comes damages. According to the lawsuit, Doe is asking for compensatory and punitive damages, plus attorney's fees, costs, and interest. As of 2024, Bambaataa's net worth is estimated to be around $500,000. But look, someone needs to show up. And this now is directly directed to Bambaataa, the Universal Zulu Nation, and anybody else associated as a defendant in this case. I'm not giving any legal advice, but I will say this. Watch my video about the game and see what can possibly happen when you don't show up. This story is not over. We are going to see what happens. And of course, as usual, I will keep you updated. Tell me what you think about this story. Put it in the comments. And of course, you know how it goes. Subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell so you can know when I drop the next update. But until then, I will talk to you later. And like I always say, what it is, what it do. Don't forget, subscribe and check out my other videos.